Hello students. In today's class we will study the appointment of an auditor. So how the auditor is appointed in companies and all we will study in the today's class. So what is the procedure for appointing the auditor? Section 224 of Companies Act 1956 contains provisions regarding appointment of auditor. So let's see one by one. Appointment of the first auditor. So the first auditor of the company should be appointed within 30 days of incorporation. Okay. So within 30 days the board of directors has to select the auditor. So if the board of directors fails to do so, okay, if they fail to appoint the auditor, at that time the shareholders can appoint the first auditor in the general meeting. Okay. So in the AGM they can select the first auditor. So the first auditor, whoever may be appointed, will hold the office from his appointment up to the 6th AGM. Okay, that is for 6 years he will be in charge of the auditing work. Okay, then the next one is appointment and reappointment by the shareholders. So retiring auditor may be reappointed at an AGM by passing a resolution. So who is this retiring auditor? So retiring auditor is the auditor who is going to retire at the first AGM. So the same auditor can continue for the next AGM also. Okay, only in the case if he is not appointed for reappointment. Okay, so when he will not be qualified for reappointment, in case if somebody has given a notice to the company that for his unwillingness to be reappointed, okay, if the shareholders are unhappy with the auditors and if they are saying that the retiring auditor should not continue or the first auditor should not continue for auditing the statements of the company, at that time he will not be qualified for reappointment. Okay, then if a resolution has been passed at the meeting appointing somebody else instead of him or providing expressively that he shall not be reappointed. Okay, if they have said that suppose ABC is the first auditor of the company, okay, instead of him if the shareholders are recommending to select XYZ to be the next auditor, at that time he cannot be reappointed. Okay, then if the auditor himself has given a letter, okay, if himself has given a notice or if he is showing any unwillingness to work as the auditor of the company, at that time also he cannot be reappointed. Okay, then next one is appointment by the central government. Okay, so when no auditors are appointed at an AGM, okay, or by the board of directors, so even the shareholders haven't appointed any auditor and even the board of directors haven't appointed any auditor, at that time the central government will appoint the auditor. Okay, so the central government will fill that particular vacancy of the auditor. So under section 619 of the Companies Act 1956, okay, the central government on the advice of comptroller and auditor general, okay, that is CAG, okay, on their direction they will appoint the new auditor, okay, or they will reappoint the new auditor for that particular company. Okay, and whatever the remuneration is to be paid, if the auditor is been selected by the central government, at that time the remuneration to be paid is also decided by the central government. Okay, if the auditor is selected by the board of directors, at that time it is the remuneration to be paid is been fixed by the board of directors only. If the auditor is selected at the AGM, at that time the shareholders are going to fix the remuneration to be paid to the auditor. Okay, then the next one is casual vacancy. So casual vacancy, the Companies Act does not define casual vacancy. Okay, so one can say that casual vacancy for an auditor arises due to disqualification. Suppose if he resigns or if he dies, at that time casual vacancy arises. Okay, so the board of directors may appoint an auditor to fill the casual vacancy caused by any other than resignation. Okay, suppose if that particular person has died, at that time the board of directors can select the new auditor. Okay, suppose if he has resigned, at that time he cannot be selected. Okay, new auditor cannot be appointed, because if the vacancy is due to the resignation, at that time the new auditor is to be appointed at the AGM only. Okay, the board of directors cannot make the independent decision over here. Okay, in case if there are more than one auditor in a particular company, then the remaining auditors only can act as a auditor during the vacancy period. Okay, suppose if there are 2 or more auditors in the company and one auditor has resigned, or maybe one auditor is has expired, at that time the remaining auditor up to the next meeting, okay, up to the next AGM, they can continue to be the auditors for that particular company and carry out the auditing task. Okay, then the next one is written consent. So written consent is nothing but the auditor himself has to provide sufficient proof that to suggest that the person qualifies the criteria provided in section 141 of the Companies Act. Okay, so before appointing he should give his prescribed qualification. Okay, that is he should certify, he should give the supporting documents to state that he is an auditor. Okay, that is he should show them the certificate that he is the chartered accountant. As we know, the qualification of auditor is to be a chartered accountant. So he should give the sufficient proof showing that he is the auditor, that he is liable, he is qualified to become the auditor. Okay, then the next one is appointment by special resolution. Okay, so the appointment or reappointment at each AGM of an auditor or auditors shall be made by a special resolution. Means what? Suppose if you want to appoint a particular auditor, at that time there must be a special resolution. Okay, it should be given to each and every members. In order to pass that particular resolution, at least 75% of the members should be present. Okay, so they will decide whether that particular person should be appointment or no. Okay, this special resolution will be passed at the annual general meeting. So this particular, whatever the special resolution is there, it is applicable to a public or financial institution, okay, or a government company, or a central government company, or any state government company. Okay, so whether it is jointly of the government, whether state or central, or whether it is of state or central, whether it is a public institution. So everybody has to pass a special resolution. Without passing special resolution, they cannot select the auditor. Okay, then in case of the company in which not less than 25% of the share capital, subscribed share capital is held. Okay, then a nationalized bank or an insurance company carrying on general insurance business. Okay, suppose if any companies or banks are going for general insurance, at that time also they have to pass the special resolution. Okay, and even when the companies, okay, or those banks who hold securities or shares as a security for providing loans, okay, so such financial institutions also, that is the nationalized banks. Okay, so special resolution is necessary even if the nationalized bank hold shares of the company as security against loans and advances. So even for such banks, special resolution is necessary before appointing the auditor. Okay, then appointment by notice. Okay, so appointment by notice is nothing but before appointing the auditor, the company should issue an appointment notice to the auditor. Okay, so they have to say that you have been selected as the auditor for the company, and with form ADT 1, okay, that is audit 1 is required to be submitted with the registrar within 15 days of the meeting in which the auditor is appointed. Okay, so he shall fill the form and give to the registrar. Okay, if he has accepted, whether he has accepted or whether he has refused to accept the appointment. So once he has received the notice, he can either accept that particular appointment or he can even reject. So whatever is his opinion, he has to give it to the registrar of the companies. Okay, so that's it for the day. So thank you and have a nice day.